The second that I met with Nick, it was via Zoom because he lived in the UK. I knew instantly that he was Luke because our chemistry was so great through a computer screen.
Right.
And so we met the night before we started shooting.
You're kidding.
No, he flew in on a Saturday. I met him on a Sunday night. And then we drove to set. And then the next day we got married on set.
Hey friends, it's your girl, Emily Curl. We're here at iHeartRadio hanging out with the lovely and talented, my friend, Sofia Carson. Let's give it up for Sofia.
Thanks, guys.
You know I always love seeing you.
And you.
And this time it's very special because
is.
First and foremost, congratulations.
Thank
Purple
you.
Hearts is out, the #1 movie globally on Netflix. So many people are loving this film. You gave a stunning performance. Tell us a little bit, give us the background on this project. How did you initially get involved with it?
It's just so surreal hearing you say those things to me. I'm like on a cloud. This project has been 5 years in the making.
5 years.
5 years ago, I was shooting Pretty Little Liars, The Perfectionists in Portland, Oregon. And I work with my incredible director, Liz Allen. And we really connected. And actually, the reason why she says that she wanted to work with me again is she heard me belting I'll Never Love Again from Stars Born in the middle of the woods.
Stop it.
I was trying to get emotional for a scene, and I thought nobody could hear me. And she was like, who is this crazy girl?
Is that your go-to song to get emotional? That
It
puts
was
you in the...
then. At that moment, The Stars Born had just come out, and every time I heard that song and I sang it, I got so emotional. So I would use it before scenes.
Oh,
And
that's a good
that's what
tip.
she heard. And she's like, I think we have to work together again. And cut to a couple months later, she handed me a rough draft of a script called Purple Hearts. And she said that she wanted to embark on this journey as more than just actor and director, but as partners, and to bring this to life together. And I'm forever grateful to her for seeing whatever it is that she saw in me, that she trusted that I could do this with her. And it's been 5 years. I was on as executive producer, helped develop the script, cast it, write the soundtrack with Justin Tranter, became Cassie, and now it belongs to the world.
That's amazing. I mean, and that's so cool. Not only are you starring in the film, but like you mentioned, you're the executive producer. For those people out there who might not understand what that means, how would you explain that role to them?
For me, it's essentially being a part of every aspect of bringing a film to life, every aspect of storytelling. We began with, finding a writer to come in and kind of rewrite the script, then developing the characters, developing the storylines, cutting out storylines, casting the film. Then the writing of the soundtrack, I guess, doesn't involve executive producing, but I did do that as well. It's essentially being a part of every aspect of bringing a film to life, which was really exciting to be on that journey.
And let's talk about the script for a second, because not only is it a love story, but you also touch on some intense themes, some political themes.
Yeah.
How heavily involved were you in those conversations, in that script writing?
Very much so. It's actually the reason why I fell in love with this film, because it was so much more than just a love story. And you know me, my heart has always gravitated towards telling stories that are important and meaningful. And I love that Cassie and this film was very much, it captured like the zeitgeist of our generation, a generation raised in a divided world, in a divided country, but a generation led by women like Cassie who believe that they can change the world. And our story is more than just a love story. It has a very important social political message. We meet two people from opposite ends of everything, red and blue, who are kind of raised to hate each other, like we very much are. And through the power of love, they learn to love each other and they form this beautiful shade of purple. And that's kind of why I fell in love with this film.
Yeah, and let's talk about Cassie for a second, because obviously watching it, and I know you, you can see those initial similarities. Your love of family, your love for music. What other qualities in Cassie did you maybe see yourself in?
Cassie and I, like you said, we're very, very different, but also we have those similarities, our deep passion for music, how her mom is her everything. I think also, it's funny because before I stepped into Cassie and I became her, I was so terrified. The most scared I had ever been in my life. Because
why? What was it about it?
It had been 5 years of me dreaming of that moment, so I think I had put an immense amount of pressure on myself. I had taken on roles I never had before, and Cassie in particular was my most challenging role as an actor, and it's a scary thing, and I knew in order to do this film and her story justice, I had to just surrender completely and be as vulnerable and honest I had ever been, and I was so scared. And being Cassie, because she's so fearless, she reminded me that I was fearless too.
Yeah, and she had this certain level of like a badass mixed with being vulnerable.
Totally.
What sort of women did you look to, in those 5 years that inspired, the same personalities or that same sort of, personality traits?
I looked to a lot of women like from the early feminist movement, just because Cassie very much reminded me of that like early 60s, 70s spirit, like Joan Baez and so many just really women who were that. They were at the forefront of history, but with their unapologetic vulnerability because they were unafraid to tell the world exactly what they felt when they felt it. And that to me is Cassie.
Unmatched, yeah. We also have to talk about your on-screen chemistry with your co-star Nicholas because some of those scenes, Sophia, I was here for it. How did you two initially meet? And how long after that meeting did you start filming? Did you know each other for a while?
No, we didn't. So I was part of the casting process, which was very cool for me to experience that. And we met with a lot of really talented guys. And the second that I met with Nick, it was via Zoom because he lived in the UK. I knew instantly that he was Luke because our chemistry was so great through a computer screen.
Right. So you're like, this is
So I was
like,
this has got to be good. And it's the whole heart of our movie is these two people who can't stand how much they love each other. And that has to come from this like fiery chemistry. And so we met the night before we started shooting.
You're kidding.
No, he flew in on a Saturday. I met him on a Sunday night. And then we drove to set. And then the next day we got married on set.
Stop.
Yeah.
No, you're obviously both like talented actors. You're
Thank
trained
you.
in this. But do you have any like tips? Or is anything anyone told you about how to like fake intimacy that quickly, knowing each other for one day? Because it seemed like,
I mean, I'm sure you can, but I think we were very lucky in that it was there. It really helped to really bring Cassie and Luke's story to life in a very real way.
And Cassie and Luke, there were some emotional scenes. There were some funny scenes.
Yes.
What was the most challenging scene to film?
It's funny because Nick and I would talk. Every day was a really challenging day because it was a really emotional film.
And how long was this shot over? Was this
It was shot
short
over
amount of time?
August to October of last year,
Okay.
so not that long, but a pretty good amount. And we actually shot the very last scenes of the movie of us on the beach. We just shot that in April.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we shot that in April. It was like a last minute addition.
Oh, I loved that.
Yeah. The hardest scene, obviously the more emotional ones, like with our big fight when I tell him, that we're going to get a divorce when I find out what he's done and his truth and everything. That was really hard for us, I think, because we had put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make that scene really great. And then I think one of our favorite scenes is when Cassie has her low blood sugar attack and she gets back home and he's like scared to lose her. And it was the last scene that we shot of principal photography. And for those couple of hours that we shot the scene, it was just like, we were so immersed in our characters. We were just like crying and like holding each other the whole time. It was very real.
Was there a scene in particular that maybe you didn't quite, not feel as much when you're shooting it, but you watch back and you're like, wow, I didn't quite realize the power of this scene?
There were so many. Honestly, I actually haven't watched the movie since the premiere. And I watched the movie. It was such a cool experience because I felt like it was kind of out of body. Like I was watching Cassie. I don't know how to describe it. And I was like laughing and crying and I was enjoying it. And there were so many scenes and moments that I was like, oh, I didn't imagine that was going to resonate so much with people. Like the bathtub scene has really, really resonated with a lot of people. I love the moment when Luke kisses Cassie on the forehead in bed. That script wasn't originally written for it to be like that. And Liz, we talked in length about making it just really intimate and just like a kiss on the forehead can mean so much more. And I'm so happy that's how it ended up in the movie.
Oh my God, after that scene, I downloaded dating apps again. I was like, I gotta fall in love.
I love that. Because of that scene is when I wrote And I Didn't Know, I Was Fine Before You Kissed Me on the Forehead as a flashback to that moment.
Well, we're iHeart. We got to talk about the original soundtrack, which I was blown away. Tell me a little bit about your creative direction with that. How did that come about? I feel like it was such a huge part of the narrative of the film.
Huge.
Yeah.
It was a huge part of our story, a huge part of Cassie. It was really like the heart of the film. In her music, we kind of meet her and we fall in love with the story and with them. So again, going into this, I was also petrified because it was 5 years of me dreaming of what it was going to sound like. And I wanted to make sure it was very specific to Cassie and not Sophia. And we accomplished that because she's like indie rock and very much not what I've ever done. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, bringing the soundtrack to life with Justin Tranter, who is just an icon, and his incredible team that he put together. And the first song that we wrote was Hate the Way. I had been writing it in my notes pages for a couple of weeks, and then we wrote I Didn't Know second. But yeah, I loved being able to weave their story into the music, and there's so many kind of moments. If you read the lyrics, you'll remember it from the script.
Before I let you go, take me to the night of the premiere.
Yes.
I feel like I'm just seeing you in this like gorgeous gown. You're walking the red carpet. Your friends and family are there, and I know that means everything to you. You watch the film. I mean, what goes through your mind after that moment? These years and years of hard work with your cast and crew.
My mom said that she looked like I was floating. That I was kind of floating above the carpet and just kind of floating. And it didn't matter to me what happened after the movie came out because I was so proud of what we did. And I was so proud of the people I had the opportunity to work with and the story that we brought to life. And I enjoyed that night so much. I remember watching the film and I had my sister and my mom next to me. And at one point I was like, Mom. And she's like,
You're like, that's
I
me.
know. And I was like, oh my gosh, because it was different seeing it on a big screen, and the score is so beautiful,
So
and
beautiful.
how they carved in the songs into the score. And I was like, I think we have something you never know. I was like, I think we made something special. And then cut to here we are, and the world has fallen in love with it.
Yeah. Why do you think so many people just resonate so deeply with it?
I think our love story is really beautiful and really important, and I think that resonated with a lot of people. I think Cassie, from what I've been told on social media, has meant a lot to a lot of young girls. I think the music,
Yeah.
which makes me so happy. The music has gone viral all around the world, and I think that has a lot to do with it too. But whatever it is, I'm so grateful.
Speaking of socials, I've been seeing all in the comments everywhere. They want a sequel. They want
I
Purple
know.
Hearts too. Everyone is asking. Is that a possibility? Is that in the cards?
Of course it's a possibility. Of course it is, but who knows? Who
Okay,
knows? We'll see.
I know the fans are going to love that. So, but Sofia, once more, congratulations. It's always so good to see you. Can we give it up one more time? Sofia Carson is in the building.
Thanks, Sam.
Everyone, go stream Purple Hearts. Go listen to the soundtrack. It's all out now. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.